This is part 2 of the Elite 8 Budget Bangers series. Today we have 2 new contenders. In the left corner we have the Rockford Fosgate R2 12-inch subwoofer with a 2-inch voice coil and weighing in at 8 pounds. In the right corner we have the Rap Savard 12. It has a 2.5-inch voice coil and it weighs 16.5 pounds. Who will end up on top of this battle and make it on to the final 4? The choice is yours. Let's put them both to the test. We'll check the SPL, we'll listen to them, see what they sound like, and then you will make the final call who moves on to the final 4. So let's just get to it.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop. Alright,
we're into the second video of the Elite 8 shootout. I want to kind of cover some of the things that maybe I didn't cover in the first video. The amp I'm using is the Soundcube U3000, graciously sent to me by my buddy Derek from Wilson Audio Labs. I'll leave a link to his channel in the video description. But that being said, it is bridged at 4 ohms, meaning I'm giving roughly 1,000 watts to these subs, give or take. Also, the enclosure is 2.2 cubic foot, tuned to 35 hertz. It is oversized for most of these subs, just ever so slightly. I do list the required specs from the manufacturer and then what the specs of the enclosure they're in are, so that you can see that there is a little bit different. It's going to be hard to match a single enclosure up to every single subwoofer. So with those things being said, let's see how this Rockford Fosgate and Savard Rap 12 turn out when they battle head to head. All right, let's get some measurements here. Overall measurements on the Rockford Fosgate is 13 inches exactly. On the Savard Rap 12, we are at 12.5 inches. We're going to get some surround-to-surround measurements, and we are 11 1/8 of an inch on the Rockford Fosgate. On the Savard, we are exactly 11 inches. Now for the cone area, on the Rockford Fosgate, we are 9 1/8 of an inch. On the Savard Rap 12, we are 9 1/8 of an inch, so very close there. As far as the width of the surround, we are right at 1 inch on the Rockford Fosgate, and the Savard we are also right at 1 inch. The depth of the surround, the Rockford Fosgate, you're looking at about 5/8 of an inch tall, and on the Rap 12 you're looking at around 1 inch. For the mounting depth, we are looking at 5 1/4 of an inch on the Rockford Fosgate, and on the Rap 12 we are looking at 6 3/8 of an inch. Now let's check out the back side of these, and it's a pretty striking difference. The Rockford Fosgate has a smaller, much more compact motor, whereas the Savard has a pretty substantial motor comparable to the CT Sounds and the Scar that we tested last week. But that doesn't always tell the tale. We need to put these in the vehicle and see how the performance actually is instead of judging them with our eyes only. As far as the terminals, they both look to accept about 10 gauge, which is plenty. They both have perimeter venting. You can see the Rockford Fosgate here dips, and on the Savard you got nice big venting. Then you have a bumped back plate with a vent in the back. It is larger on the Rockford Fosgate than it is on the Savard, but the Savard does have a bigger bumped back plate. One thing that I do want to point out is the thickness of the tinsel leads here, and you can see they're pretty beefy cables. It's a nice flat wound cable sewn in. The Rockford Fosgate does have sewn tinsel leads as well, but it's a single fine cable, and that's going to make a little bit of a difference when it comes to the overall abuse that this sub can take versus this sub.
take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls. I feel like life is on hold, perception stuck in a vault. I know that time can heal all, but how much time till we fall? It's awfully chilly outside when there's no shelter to hide. When everything is a lie, you'll find.
Alright, I'm back with the Rockford Fosgate Prime. R2D2. I'm giving it extra nerd points for that. Totally slipped it by me until I ordered this sub. Now you might think this sub is a bit out of its class, being 250 watts RMS, and maybe it is. So if this puts out less SPL, that's kind of expected because it doesn't handle as much power. I'll also give you my opinion on what it sounds like, how I think it handled the power, so on and so forth. That being said, I'm not picking the winner of this. You guys are picking the winner. So if you think it was unfair to put the Prime 250 watt RMS sub up against the Savard Rap 12 that is like a 500 or 600 watt RMS sub, you can vote the Prime the winner. The choice is yours. Let me get on to the listening test. We'll see what that sounds like. And then we'll also do the same SPL run. We'll do a frequency sweep. Then we will do individual notes and see where we're at. Magic frequency was 48 hertz on the Rockford Fosgate Prime R2D2. Now we did get a little stinky smelling, so we're definitely putting a little stress on this 250 watt RMS sub at 1,000 watts. But not too bad, Rockford, not too bad. So what did I think about the Rockford Fosgate Prime R2D2? I gotta say, I'm thoroughly impressed with this subwoofer. It was kind of outmatched from the three that have already been in the shootout as far as power handling, and that was evident in the test. It did get a little stinky after extensive testing, but it didn't blow, didn't go slinky, so that's a good sign. As far as sound quality, I think the sub sounds great. It at least sounds as good as the Savard Rap 12, if not a little bit better. Very clean. Took quite a bit of power for a 250 watt RMS subwoofer, and it actually did fairly well on the SPL test. I think you would be really happy if you picked this sub up, and really surprised at the output. Alright, we're back in the Trooper testing again, this time with the Savard Rap 12. We're going to go through all the same tests. I will adjust the gain a little bit for the listening test because, you know, they vary a little bit. On the SPL test, they both will be set with the gain knob at 25, like it has been on every single sub up until this point. So as far as this sub, it's totally a performer. It did very well in the SPL test. As far as listening goes, I think that the Savard Rap 12 sounds much better than the two we had in here last week, being the Scar SDR12 and the CT Sounds Tropo. Now, is this going to be a big difference at 138 decibels? Absolutely not. The numbers overall for the Rockford Fosgate: 136.6 on the 48 Hz tone, 133.5. So it was about 3 dB quieter on the frequency sweep and around 2 dB quieter on the SPL test than the Savard Rap 12. But I think that it did sound as good or maybe even better than the Savard Rap 12. And it was very impressive to me how much output this did have, because it's really punching above its weight class here. This one was a bit out of its element, but I wanted to put it in because I have not tested one of these prime subwoofers, and let me just say I'm thoroughly impressed. As for the Savard Rap 12, it got a 138.4 dB, which matches the CT Sounds, and it's just 1/10 of a dB less than the Scar, and it did 136.9 dB on the sweep. As far as the Savard Rap 12, it's also an impressive subwoofer. Unfortunately, I don't see it available many places now. Hopefully they get them back in stock or they make a revision 3. Whatever happens, it's a quality sub. And I think not only does it match the performance of the CT Sounds and the Scar, it also sounds better doing it. So if I'm picking between those three, my personal pick would be the Savard Rap 12 over those three. And as far as this is up to you. What is your pick between the Rockford Fosgate Prime, R2D212, and the Savard Rap 12? You have all the numbers available to you. You have the listening test. You have my opinion on the sound cue. All you have to do is go vote in the poll in my community tab. Pick your winner of this video. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you do like this kind of stuff, make sure you hit the thumbs up, share, make sure you're subscribed so you can see the rest of these videos. And most importantly, don't forget to go to the community tab on my YouTube channel and vote for the winner in this particular video, because after this, it's the championship round, and we start the left side of the bracket, and we work our way all the way back. So I'm excited to see how this ends up. I hope you guys are all along for the ride, and I will see you in the next video. I love my entire Patreon crew, but the $6 or more members get a special shout out, and that is 2001 Monolithic, G Nava, Joaquin Juarez, El Fuego Audio, Travis McClendon, Brandon Hanna, William Burke, Boxboy Audio Sound Solutions, Jesus Tires, Dennis Cromwell Jr., Scott Dilbeck, D. Stewart, David Kozlik, Scott McCord, Matthew Tolberg, Debo Bass, Cornut, Trucker 9000, Bobby Burkett, Kevin Lautner, James Childers, Baba, Thomas Marshall, and Living Loud with Andy. If you've ever wondered how can I support HifiVega, this is the way to do it. Check me out at patreon.com/HifiVega. We do an exclusive live stream for patrons only. Some of them get to join. It's a really fun time. You should definitely check it out.